so much for joining. If this is your first time, my name is Jeff Fuzzy Wenzel. I am the CEO of Pre-IPO Hype, and about 3 or 4 years ago, I took over Innovate Farmington, the meetup group, and we have been kind of having these sessions for a while now. We've had some bumps in the road here and there, and they have been. COVID definitely took a hit on us, and I personally keep trying to get it restarted. But again, this is some of you guys' first times here. I'm super excited that you were able to join. We're going to be talking today all about buyer personas, why we use them, how to use them, some of the tools that I use for these. So again, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about myself, I'll give you a quick background here in a second as people are kind of jumping in. But like I said, I'm Jeff Fuzzy Wenzel. I'm the CEO of Pre-IPO Hype. I have been in the startup fundraising space now 15, 16 years now. Just a little bit of background on me. I first started in the reward-based crowdfunding space, doing Kickstarters, and ending up doing about 300 or 400 Kickstarters. So a lot of Kickstarters. We had a pretty unique business model for that. After that, I moved into equity crowdfunding, so finding money for startup companies using Reg CF or Reg D. And then I also help out at a few VC firms in the area, as well as some angel groups. So I am with startup founders, literally from in the garage tinkering all the way up to raising venture capital money. So what you're looking at here is my website. If that's something you guys are interested in, you guys can click on there, ask some questions, dive into my world. Bunch of resources are on here, blogs and whatnot. So again, jump on in and you'll see that. But today we're going to talk all about personas, why we use them, how I use them, how I think about using them, why I think they're important. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, let me make sure people are getting jumped in here. Here we are. If you guys can't hear anything, or let me know, I have the chat open. Hopefully everybody is hearing everything all right. I see you guys kind of jumping in and out. Let's make sure everybody's hearing everything okay. Good. So if, like I said, if this is your first time, I appreciate it. We're going to try to get these back in the swing of things every month, spending 30, 45 minutes here, taking questions, and kind of talking through different sort of strategies that we can do, for your company. But today though, like I said, we're going to talk about personas. Let's get into the weeds here. So what is a persona? Let's kind of go through that right now here. So we're going to go over here. I really think that this is a great tool for you to use here. HubSpot's got an amazing resource for it. So I'm going to start on here. And we're just going to go into what is an actual persona, right? Persona is sort of a semi-fictional representation of who you think your customer is or who your investor is. And I'm going to use buyer and investor, kind of switching them back and forth. Again, because I work in the investment space so much, I am always thinking about who is the type of investor I'm going after. Do they make sense for me to knock on their door? Would they like the deal I am? Would they invest in the deal that I currently have? So it is very similar to a buyer persona. So the reason we do this is that we want to focus all of our outreach, our communication, our blogs. We want to make sure that we are laser beam focused as to who we're talking to. If right now in your mind, you're thinking, if you're thinking in your mind, hey, I'm going to my persona is everybody, you have already lost the race here. Your persona has to be more focused than that. We want these to be laser beam focuses. We want them to be I like to have 3 to 5 sometimes personas. So the more focus that you can get on it, the better your exercise is. You can go through these things. You have a better shot of really aligning your marketing message to the right person. So why do we use these? Again, there's so much data out there in the world right now. It's very easy to create a piece of content that you think is who your buyer is, but ultimately it actually isn't, right? So you could be basically barking up the wrong tree, for lack of a better term. So we want to make sure that when we're doing this, we're putting in context, maybe job descriptions, job titles, age, male, female, articles that they like to read. Where do they get their their information from, right? We're focusing that information down as much as possible as we're laying out this persona, so that we're aligning a very consistent message. So how do you use these things? Well, you really want to focus down on challenges that people are experiencing, demographic traits, maybe their upbringing, why would they, what pain point are you really solving for them? So you're really kind of asking a lot of these types of questions as you go through this, so that you're lining up these personas so that your marketing and your messaging is straight a line as possible. So we're going to kind of go back over here. I'm going to back this up here real quick. So this is, like I said, this is a great resource. It's free. It's over on HubSpot right now. By the way, if anybody wants these things, we do have these are all modules that we built out. We have a 6-month training course on how to get your company sort of built and marketed. So this is the first one we're going to go through. This is what we're working on today, is clarifying our investor persona. So yeah, let's go back over here to the HubSpot though. So now that you kind of see why I'm focusing on personas, what my mindset is on them, this tool again does a great job of actually laying out who should we talk to, what's the persona, what do they look like, and who are we going to go after. So we're just going to go through this exercise kind of together. So yeah, I'm just going to say this is my male 25 to 40, let's say. And again, I do these a lot, right? So I will so let's say that let's do, let's see, maybe about 25. Let's do, we'll do that right here, 25 to 34. So now you start to think about, well, where are they on the education, right? High school diploma, our GED, some college, master's degrees. So let's say I'm looking for people with bachelor's degrees. So again, I'm working through this. So now I get into is there an industry that they are working in? So, let's say if it's in my world, I'm thinking real estate. Are they self-employed? Are they a part of a small organization, a big organization? So again, there's no right answer here. It's potentially multiple of these answers. So I'm going to say that they're in real estate and they're working in, the organization they're a part of is between 11 and 50. So now we get into, a job title. What would that job title be? Let's say they're just in sales. How is their job measured? Now, again, some of these questions may not make sense for you, so you have to sometimes tailor them. I'm using just a standard kind of persona that HubSpot puts out. So let's just say that they're measured on, leads per month. And who do they report to? They report to the CEO. So now you're starting to layer that down a little bit. So now you get into well, what are their goals and objectives? So again, you're going to keep kind of focusing, again, depending on your vertical. And again, if a question doesn't make sense, that's okay. You might want to move into, a different version. So again, this is, like I said, it's a free. I'll give you guys a link to this if you need it. But you can see lots of stuff in here. So that is, again, a starting point in terms of clarifying and finding your persona. So if we kind of go back over to my module here, so that's kind of step one is at least getting some groundwork as to who you think this audience is. Now, step two for me is once you kind of have that audience, I recommend a tool called SpyFu. SpyFu is literally what I use to spy on competitors, other websites that might be in my vertical. It might be in, I can go and look at keywords that they're targeting, backlinks that might exist out there. So SpyFu, like I said, it is where I start the sort of my research. So right now, in my opinion, I would have okay, I've got a gauge on who I think my person is. I start to think about they're probably reading these websites, these blogs. Maybe they go to this website. So if I just went and I put in HubSpot, and see what pops up, maybe they use HubSpot a lot for, for their blogs and stuff. So this is going to spit out, and I'm just going to do a quick overview of it. This tool is incredibly powerful for you to get behind the scenes, to know kind of where to point your ship. So you start to get in here and you're like, oh, that's a lot of organic keywords. So now we've got some competitors that we could look at. People who are paying, paid competitors. Pipedrive obviously would make sense in this. They are definitely competitors. You can start to see where and what keywords everybody is bidding on, right? So you kind of can see the Venn diagram of all of that. You start getting into the keywords that people that they're ranking for. You start to get scenarios as to what would it be a good things to write about or a good thing to run an ad for. You can just do a lot here. You can get into keyword research. You could get into here and say, hey, I put crowdfunding in mind. Let's just stay in the real estate one for right now. Let's see what else it's going to here. So now we're doing some keyword research. So I'm just trying to gather, what is this audience going to look like? Am I, what types of keywords are out there? What are the questions that people are asking? Can I provide for them? Do they make sense in my vertical? I'm researching and researching. Again, the more time that you put into this step, the better and more, the easier it will be to create the content needed down the road, right? So you can, again, have more of a laser beam focus. You can start seeing kind of ads that are being ran right now on Google. What's trending. So that's a nice thing. You can, backlinks, you could go to backlinks and start to see, well, what other websites, are out there that maybe I'm not aware of. So I have no idea what this site is. This guy's just crushing it right now, so, if you put that website in, can you do the search again? So you just kind of keep, diving deeper and deeper into this persona, and you might make a Google sheet about this stuff. So and like I said, you're going to have 3 to 5 of these things at the end of the day. There is no one persona for everybody. There's different targets of this. So if we kind of go back to our module here, so we're brainstorming a list of buyers in industry, investors and buyers in your industry. We're researching each one of them. Maybe we're looking at background. Maybe we're looking at relevance to what you do. Real estate is a big broad. Maybe you're a certain sector of real estate that you've got to go find people that are in that sector, not just everybody. So that's kind of the identifying of it. Which is nice. So another really, really nice tool that we use quite a bit on these personas is this tool over here called Figma. So Figma is kind of how I map out a lot of my stuff. So first we're going to do is I'm going to go through this flow chart here real quick about just the mental kind of why I'm choosing what I'm choosing, right? So first going to start here. So I'm going to start with, identifying the target audience. I'm going to go and gather that demographic information. Then I'm saying, hey, is that target well defined? If it is, create a buyer persona. If it's not well defined yet, you might have to go and conduct and do some research, analyze the market trends. We just talked about that with SpyFu. Is there a demand for what you do, right? Yes or no? If it's yes, maybe now it's time to create that persona. If it's no, do you need to reevaluate the target audience a little bit more? Are you identifying the pain points and the needs? Are you creating a proposition that has value? And then now you start to develop the marketing strategies off of that. So this is a flow that we can share after our meetup here. Is the target audience engaged? Here's the other thing is you could do all of this research, find an audience that you think makes sense. But if that audience is not an audience that's out engaging a lot, meaning that they're not out reading a lot of content, you might find that it can get quite challenging to make them engaged. That happens. I'll give you an example of that in my space. We get a lot of companies who are like, we want to target, doctors, high net worth individuals, disposable income. They're going to like the thing I'm working on. And if we can get them, almost every single campaign that we start with a seed audience of doctors, our open rates are like 5%, 6%. They're not checking their emails all day. They're not checking their SMS. They're not engaged. So again, yes, that is an audience that on paper, they meet all the criteria, but to get to market to them, very, very, very challenging, right? Um, so then, from there you measure and track results. If you've got that, are the results meeting the objective? So a lot of times what I'll do too is I'll start with, can we at least get somebody to opt in, right? If I can't get an email address, I'm not going to get a buyer or an investor, like literally it ain't going to happen, right? So I've got to find a way that I'm getting at least, some objective that I'm setting out. And I'm saying, hey, this is what I'm going to measure on. Are we getting a really low cost per click? Are we getting landing page views that we want to get? Are we getting email addresses? Are we getting SMS messages? Again, every vertical is going to be a little bit different, but you want to say this is the objective that we're looking for to see if this is working or not, right? And again, based on that, you might either have to adjust your marketing strategies or continue with current strategies. And then also, don't forget monitoring market trends. Maybe, again, you're in a vertical that you're working on, and some trend comes along and kind of rips it. You might have to go back to the drawing board of this and start over with finding another persona. So again, this is something that even for myself, I kind of focus on maybe yearly or before I roll out an initiative. And I'll show you what this means here in just a second. But I'm always kind of going through this thought pattern, and I'm consistently trying to find little things that I can do before I roll out a big thing. I'll give you a real life example of what I'm talking about right now. This meeting right now is kind of a test of my target audience in this. Will people join? And we've had a lot of starts and stops with Innovate Farmington over the last 10 years. And again, COVID was a big burden, obviously, on the whole world, but also on meetup groups. So again, this is a meetup group that's been around for a long time, and I've kind of, it's on my plate, but it's been a lot of start and stop. So even today, it's, hey, all right, are people finding this? Can I create content out of this? So this event right now, in my opinion, for me, is I'm kind of in right around in here, right? I'm trying to see if there's something here. We've made I've made a 12 module course. We're going to see if it makes sense for people. How much time do I want to spend on it? Is there value to the listener? So I'm asking a lot of these questions right now, even when I'm in this type of event. And I'll get to the end of this and I'll measure and track results. And do I want to continue, or do I need to adjust it a little bit more, right? Even down to even my marketing behind the scenes. I sent out one email about 30 minutes ago that some of you might have gotten. That's how you got here. So do I need to do weeks and weeks and weeks of marketing to this audience, or do I need to just be like, hey, you should join and then you can watch the recording later? I'm figuring that out, but the best way to figure it out to me is to do it. So again, this is the thought pattern and just the flow chart that is kind of buyer personas. Now, Figma also has a couple other great tools in it. And again, Figma is free, so literally sign up for it. And just too, HubSpot, what we talked about earlier, this is free. I'll send you the links to this when you guys. I'll put it in the chat in a minute here. And SpyFu, I think, is it's free, but I think $40 a month or 25. I'm sorry, I think it's $35 a month to pay. You get access to this, and that's where you can kind of really do some research and dive a little bit more in the weeds. Back over to Figma again. I'm on. This is great for you too. At some point when you get into the personas, you might want to just literally write this out. Call this persona 1. Where are they on the personality? What interests, influencers, goals, needs and expectations, motivations, pain points, frustrations? What are you solving for these people? I'm going to use my analogy in the investor world. That's what I play in the most, right? So if I had a retail investor that is looking to round out their portfolio. Maybe they got their tax return and they've got a little extra money that they want to kind of gamble with a little bit. So influence, is Elon Musk an influencer in his space? Are they actually still over on X? I don't, maybe. Pain points, they want to kind of find a hockey stick, in alternative investments. Is their goal to be a full-time investor, or is it to be on Robinhood, something like that, right? So, for me, I start to, ask and answer these questions over and over and over. What's the needs and expectations? Do they want a lot of communication? Do they want no communication? Are they influenced by stonks? Are they on Reddit? Are they in Wall Street Bets? Are they over on Facebook groups, right? Like, what's influencing them in their mindset? So you start to answer, you start to kind of put these some answers to these questions, and you might have 2 or 3 of these. So when you now have this, you say, hey, all right, I've got my 3 personas, all right, that I'm gonna target. Then you can start building up very, very specific workflows that are more targeted to them. And the reason that I do this is, in all of my flows and funnels, I have very specific things that I want to happen. Okay. So, and I want the line to be as straight as possible. So I want to take this persona, and whatever marketing message they get or landing page that they see, it's as straight a line as possible. I think one of the big misconceptions a lot of people had is that they build one website and they hope that that one website encapsulates everybody. Like, everybody will just see this one website and go, oh, this is exactly who I am. It's just not, again, it's not how it's working right now. You really want to be more focused on, multiple landing pages, multiple flows and funnels, and targeting that language and communication as tight as possible. So again, great resource. This is, again, go to Figma. You can literally you click down here, you add in the personas, you can add in this flowchart and start to think about whatever you're working on right now. Who really is the target audience? Locations, zip codes, age, disposable income, non-disposable income, degrees, non-degrees. What are they reading? What are they watching? What are they doing on Reddit? Speaking of Reddit, Reddit is another great channel for this. You can go into all the different subreddits, ask questions. Who's in this? You start to get a gauge on it. So I've kind of talked about, some of the execution of this. In my world, I'll show you kind of my three major personas for everything kind of around me. So the first one you're looking at here is my personal persona, right? So I have a complete personal brand. I talk about a bourbon I like, a cigar, some song I just listened to. I share a lot more personal stuff into this, as well as a touch of business here and there. This persona here is also people who have met me, or we've had calls, we've talked to. So everybody in this is getting different content, right? They're just getting content that has a little bit more loose ends at the end of the day. My second persona is startup founders, right? So everybody that's on this call is definitely in my, you're a founder, you're running your own company. All of this is 100% education based. So if you're not a part of the lowdown, let me know. I'll add you to the lowdown. And every Tuesday I put out content to help, right? It's just like, hey, here's what I did on TikTok last week. Here's a new tool I just tried to use. Here's how I think about AI. So it's a lot more focused around your, probably very similar to me. You're looking for tips and techniques, right? So if you're on this call right now with me, you're probably looking for a tip or a technique, right? So the lowdown has a bunch of those. And then my third persona is all just investors, right? This is, hey, you should see what, is around me of just deals, right? Or you should see what's in my, in my space of just, Reg CFs, Reg Ds. So this is my third one. So again, I'm finding that for a lot of businesses that I'm consulting with and talking to, they almost all have the same sort of three personas as well when the dust all settles. And there is something that's continuing to happen more and more that um, that personal touch, that conversation from a CEO, like this is what I do day in and day out. There does need to be a touch of that. The companies that struggle the most in our world are very hands-off CEOs that they are not connecting with those personas. Um, you know, they think that they're over here when really they should be in the weeds with those personas, talking to them over and over and over. So I encourage everybody, yeah, it can be challenging for a lot of people, but I really recommend finding ways to start putting out stuff to get some feedback back. I'm going to switch to a different screen here real quick, and I'm going to show you why here. Give me 2 seconds to go to here, here, and here. Let me go over here. Sorry, I should have had this open a minute ago. But once again, I know we're talking a lot about personas and who a buyer could be, who an investor might look like. The other thing that's really started to change for me in the last probably 9 to 10 months or so is how content is being consumed. And this is where I really recommend thinking about this and then taking those personas that we just talked about and applying them to this content flow and goal, right? So everything has to start at the top with inspirational type content. So how are you inspiring these personas? How are you making them aware that you exist? How are you making them feel like that persona is going to be an insider? And that's an important one too, because when you go back to some of those answers, do people want to be that? Do they want to feel like they're an insider? If the answer is no, all right, we have to find something else. But if they are people who like, I want to be the first one to know this thing, well, you've got to give them that type of content. We want people to feel like they're top of a trend. We also want people to start respecting you as an influencer in whatever trend you're working on. So if you are, again, a big wig in some real estate thing that I don't know about, right? Like, well, I want to know about it. And I'm friends with this person and I see his content and I follow it, right? And only from inspiration do people start to look at your social medias, your websites, or starting to learn a little bit more. All of us are on endless doom scrolls. We could sit for the rest of time and just scroll up and down on Meta, TikTok, blogs, whatever, Google searches, right? We're all in an endless doom scroll. So to think that people are just going to find you in all of this chaos is frankly not realistic. So people need to see content, feel inspired, then move over and be like, I'm going to go check out that website. I'll go read that blog. I'm going to sign up for that newsletter, right? And it's because you have some authority to make them want to do that. Now, after they start, they get into exploration, then you want to move them into community. Now, community is where you do not sell to them. You're not offering them investment stuff. You are, doing something for them out of, with loyalty kind of in mind, or you want them to be a loyal follower. You have pop-up events, insider events, exclusive content, giveaways, sponsorships. This is something that's running sort of adjacent to your brand. Now, again, let's go back to the persona. Let's say I'm your target audience. So like, what could you want me to be in your community? What would you have to do to get me to join? Because I can join a million communities. I could join every Facebook group and LinkedIn group on the planet. So why would I be in your community? What would you do for me? Like, would I get exclusive content? Would you share insider tips to me about something? Would you put up special songs that I might like because I love music? Like, what would you do? Would you talk about cigars in this community? I don't know, whatever it might be. So my point to all this is that's where your community is. From community is where loyalty happens. This is where you get your repeat buyers, your repeat investors. This is also where you get people to be an advocate for you, right? So, you know, I've invested, I've bought, I'm an early adopter of something. I've gone through this flow. I am in this brand or this aesthetic. I'm into it, right? So now in the July 4th barbecue, when I'm cooking, and I tell my 3 or 4 buddies, man, I just invested in this, I just bought this. Now those people need to be inspired to be able to go and research. And I might have helped with some of that inspiration by being like, oh yeah, yeah, no, I love it, I love it. But you got to move people through this, right? And this is what's really challenging for a lot of people. Almost everybody comes to me with just the green. Hey, they should be doing this right now. What? Like, especially in my world, in the investment world, we can all grab our devices, right, and go on Robinhood and invest in Disney or invest in Tesla or Apple. We could all do that right now. Like, there's no barrier to that. So if we all had an extra $10,000 sitting around in our pocket, we could go do that. So why are they investing in what you're doing? Same thing on the buyers thing. We could all invest. I'm showing you Figma right now, but I'm sure there's 25 other Figmas out there that we could go out and find. So my point to all this is that this is our flow in today's world of content and becoming sticky. And how do those personas then fit into each one of these things, and how are they shifting and changing? So if we kind of go back to here, and you're thinking now about those content flows, let's go back up to here. Yeah, you may be thinking, hey, can I produce inspiring content? Can I do that? I encourage all of you, if you're not, please go follow me on TikTok. It's Wenzel. I'll put it in the chat here for you real quick. I produce lots and lots and lots of content over there. Over here at TikTok. And you're gonna go, oh, I'm not over on TikTok. It's all micro learning over there. So yeah, you can go follow me over on TikTok there. And what you'll see is I've got a whole infrastructure of TikTok, and then how it goes to LinkedIn, from LinkedIn to X to Instagram. But my point to all this is I'm constantly trying to make content that inspires and educates and is moving people through those flows as much as humanly possible. And I'm also thinking about that, the person on the other end of that content. What are they getting? How are they thinking about it? Are they absorbing it? Is it connecting with them? And I'll be frank, I'm hoping that you guys leave today either, hopefully feeling inspired, right? Let me kind of go back to this. This is where you guys are right now in my world. I hope you guys are feeling inspired. You think that you're now top of the trend of something. You're hopefully respecting me as an influencer in these said things. And hopefully from here, for anybody I don't know, you click on the website, you go to the newsletter, you come to the July event, and eventually I'm gonna move you into my community that I just showed you, right? Like, let's go back over here, right? This is my community. At some point you're in here and you might be getting more exclusive content. You might be getting, oh, here's my free giveaway thing I have. Here's my fundraising kit, right? I'll start putting you into these types of channels once you've been, you've kind of moved through the bucket, right? And at some point, if you become, a customer or we work together or something like that, now all of a sudden you're in my loyalty, right? Like, hey, we've worked together. We've done some good projects, right? So, when you start to see it kind of in real life, you start to go, oh, and there's where the persona is, and that's how it all fits together. So again, a little bit of trial and error, but it's about really putting out content. So again, I encourage everybody over and over and over. Once you've got a persona in mind, grab your phone, talk into it about the things that you do, whatever vertical you're in, get some feedback, try again, get some feedback, try again. And when this thing is fully humming, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to recommend everybody to start taking some classes on make.com or Zapier. That's how we're doing a lot of automation. So here, let me put this in here. So right now, with automation, I put out over 100 plus pieces of content per week. And it's just by me doing what I normally do. Every single thing that I do can be produced as a piece of content. So I'm also encouraging everybody here to start to think about how to navigate automation in your world. So right now, if you guys look in I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I've got a recorder here called Fathom. Fathom records everything that I do, basically all day on the computer. Client calls, internal calls, it doesn't matter. I'm always recording everything. Now I have a podcast that comes out every Thursday. That does take me some work. I've got to interview. I have an AI system that's making YouTube videos based on the verticals and based on what I want from the content. And then I mentioned every day I make one vertical video, 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. Now where automation comes in is automation takes all of that content and slices and dices it. So this piece of content, which will probably be 40, 45 minutes long when the dust all settles, I will have at least 40 to 50 shorts that come out of this that I'm going to be able to use all throughout my social channels. So again, I'm encouraging all of you guys to follow me because you'll start to see all my social content coming off of this. Once it goes into vertical clips, it also gets transcribed. ChatGPT does that. There's a portion in there called Whisper that then spits out a big Google sheet of stuff I should proofread. And so what'll happen is that I'll go in at the end of this week on Friday, proofread a little bit, fix anything that might have been a little off. And now that gives me a pool of written content that I can basically grab and distribute all next week. So everything I make this week, I can distribute next week. And that now gives me my text posts, carousels, images, and ads. That's all built with Zapier by just me having a free tool called Fathom. And I do pay for ChatGPT. It's $20 a month. But and once this gets stood up, it just runs. So as soon as I end this Zoom call, this video will start this process without me doing anything behind the scenes. So again, that's going to be advanced. It's going to be an advanced thing. But if you can get that infrastructure built, now all of a sudden you just have to talk about the thing that you do. Talk about it, right? And talk about it with your personas in mind. I am in the back of my mind right now. Everybody that's on this call, there is a persona in my Figma somewhere that says, hey, I'm talking to people who are starting their own business, or they're looking for fundraising, or they're an entrepreneur, right? I have my personas in there. So that's stuff to be thinking about. Again, I've got these modules all built out here. This is we've got 12 of them. For my goal here, again, I'm going to show you. I'm at module 1 for myself right now. So what this is 12 modules. Every month or so, I'm going to focus on a new one. So we're going to build our brand next week, and we're going to go through each one of these things. This course was actually I used this course at Florence Tech University. I had about 12 startups in it. This is how we kind of gauged and tailored this all. So again, if somebody's interested and they want to know a little bit more about our startup course, let me know. We'll plug you into that. But this is, and it's supposed to walk you through. So all month you're getting your personas in order. Month 2, you're building out the brand. Month 3 is, how do you establish landing pages and hooks and thought leadership type content, and so on and so forth. So that's where it's coming from. So even like right now, I'm on module 1. We're going to kind of all do this together. We're going to see where we are at the end of it. But yeah, hopefully this all helps. I know there's a lot we went through. If you've got for a second, I've got a poll or quiz up. I think if you guys can grab that, I got a couple questions for you. And I'm going to take a couple questions here for the next couple minutes, and then we're going to go from there. So I'm going to unmute if you guys want. Yeah, feel free. I should be able to let you guys all unmute. Let me check those settings here real quick. Give me a second here. Yeah, or if you want to just raise your hands, I'll get to you if you guys have any questions. Let me go over here real quick. Now you should be able to unmute yourselves now, I think.
Hi Jeff, how are you? It's Fadi here.
Hey,
sorry, I missed the beginning of everything, but anyway, I looked at the rest of it. I love processes, the way you're following every part. I hope I heard you saying, are they available, these charts, anywhere I can access as well, or so I can read through, or?
The modules, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'll yeah, if you guys are connected to me, here, shoot me an email and I will get you to the course.
Okay, good.
And I'll
Okay.
also send out a recording of all this at the end. So if you missed anything in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
beginning,
I had a question about when you said about the video part, you know, that the AI for video.
mhm.
Is it like you have a software ready to capture? You just take a video and then automatically it's added somewhere, or what's the
Yeah.
process?
Yeah,
Ah,
so here I'll show you guys real quick. This is what I did this morning for about 12 minutes, 13 minutes or so. So what happens here is this tool Opus clip. I strongly recommend it. I've tried out 5 or 6 other sort of clip tools. Sorry, it's going to take a second to load. This is pretty powerful. So I just load up my Zoom video or my YouTube videos or basically any video. I just upload it, the long format, and then I set the parameters of what I want cut, and it makes all of my short videos. So if I go into this video right here, you can see here it's going to give me. I wanted all my videos to be between 30 to 60 seconds in length. So it cuts everything for me and then it writes my copy and it ranks where I should, like, what keywords I should be posting it for. So you can see from this one video, I have 29 shorts from one sales call. And there's a
oh,
scheduling button here. So if I go and I want to schedule, I click this button here and I want this to go out. I have all my accounts connected and I can schedule this content to go out at
got it.
whatever the appropriate time is. And I try to do about 3 a day. So at the end of the day, I do AI is basically pushing out 10 videos a day across all of my channels by me just recording what I'm doing right now. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, Opus Clip, can't recommend it enough. Does a really, really good job. So yeah, you can see my
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. You mentioned also another software, SpyFu, was it? SpyFu or something?
SpyFu. Yep. So SpyFu is what. So typically, when I'm in the start of researching a new client or a new brand, or if I want to start to research, or if I want to spy on my competitors, I love SpyFu. I just basically put in the domains that are in my vertical. I can do all my pay-per-click research here, my keyword research, backlinks. Yeah, and I think this is like $40 a month, 35, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just throw everything in here, and this gives me, like I said, it gives me competitors, SEO keywords, what they're ranking on. I can also see the ads that are being ran. So one of my little tricks too is if you find one of your competitors and they've been running a Google ad for like 2 years, more than likely that Google ad is profitable for them, right? Like you would not run an ad for 2 years if it wasn't making you money. So
Mm.
you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
there with your
You're right. You're
start
right.
there and then move to other creative, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, so SpyFu, totally worth the money when you're starting out trying to find who to connect to.
Any difference with SEMrush? It's almost like that, or
It's probably in the ballpark. I
okay.
think SEMrush just got a little expensive on me, and SpyFu I've been with for
Yeah, yeah.
probably 6 years now. But yeah, it's in the same ballpark. Yeah, so
Well, yeah, sure, sure. Maybe anybody else has other questions, but
awesome. Anybody else have any questions out there? Looks like John or Bill. Any other questions? Awesome. All right. Well, no, good. Fadi, I do appreciate you asking some questions there. Yeah. So,
sure,
obviously,
sure.
yes, shoot me guys emails, any questions you guys might
Yeah,
have, follow up. I will, this video will be out and the clips will be posted here, next week after I, do my AI work behind the scenes. But yeah, I definitely recommend everybody, really think about those personas. Figma, again, Figma's great.
yeah,
You can get into here, really get your interest. And mind you, there's no right answer. There's no, oh, I have one persona, it's perfect. Nope, you're probably gonna have 3 or 4, right? You might even have a fifth one. And you're really trying to just hone that in. And then, like I said, make a little bit of content for each persona, get some feedback, adjust, tweak, do it again. And then by the end of a month of you doing that, you're gonna really hone in who you should be focused on and targeting.
What's that? Figma, Figma.
Correct. Figma.com.
Figma, yeah. I have a question. Then now I remembered when you talked about the persona. I mean, you mean the target persona per each email marketing you're sending out, or is there any? And you mentioned that creating the pages. I think the landing pages per each persona. I used to use the Active Campaign, HubSpot, others. Now I found one called Systeme.io. It's
Okay.
like Systeme.io. And it's really helpful because very simple, direct to the point. I'm using it. The only problem is with gathering the contacts. Maybe there I cannot organize them in any way, you know. But my question is that doesn't matter. I mean, I mean, is there any difference? Are they tools, all of them? Is there any like significant difference between using like something like Hotspot or another whatever tool to just send out?
So it kind of depends. So there's so our CRM system, we build everything in the Go High level. It's for us more cost effective. I also need to have the agency version and internal. So my whole world is built like this. Let me see if I can load it up here real quick. So my world is built into Go High level. It's our CRM system. It's so everything is in here for us. But our outreach emails, when I'm doing cold outbound, come from a tool called Lemlist. So that's our cold outbound. Our transactional emails and workflows are in Go High level. The calendar bookings, the, hey, make sure you show up at this point, or did you, what happened to you? That type of transactional emails are all in GHL. And then my newsletters are from Beehive as my newsletter. And the reason I do this is that Beehive is just, for me, unbelievable. I also, there's an ad program in there. So I have sponsorships that pay to be in my newsletter. Those things just don't exist in Go High level. For almost every company I work with, Go High level has everything that you need. It's got newsletters, it's got outbound, it's got transactional emails, calendars are all built into it, and it's $97 a month. And I have 2 clients I've moved from HubSpot over. HubSpot changed their pricing. It's super expensive to have like all the automation and workflows behind the scenes. So yeah, so this is my world. Now there's going to be other ones like this. Pipedrive I had for a while, but Pipedrive wasn't landing pages. So I needed to have another tool for landing pages. And inside of here, I can just go into my sites and I have my website in here, and then I have all my different funnels. So you can see I got funnels here. I got, which are more, one pagers, and then you got your full website. And I have a store built in. I've got, I got rid of DocuSign because this has a contract signing tool in it as well. So for $97 a month, it's hard to beat. And it works. Yeah. And it has a social media planner system in this. So again, all my social media actually comes off of this as my schedule. Here's my social planner. So,
and how about how many contacts you can have inside? As many as you want, or
you want? Yeah, it's not built like that. There's no.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'll try it.
Yeah, that's why I moved over. I've been on Pipedrive, HubSpot. I have an active campaign. I have a MailChimp. I've been on almost all of them, and I've just kind of keep whittling down to, I need this type of automation and workflow system in my world. And one other thing too, it's very easy for me to just duplicate a landing page, adjust the language, or duplicate a funnel, tweak it a little bit for a different persona, and run a workflow to that. So
this is important. Yeah. So they have a lot of templates also there in the funnel. Yeah. Great. No. I mean, Active Campaign. I mean, it became very expensive. I'm running. I'm involved in several startups, but my own startup is within education. So sometimes I paid like $1,700 per month on Active Campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, so Beehive is $100, I think, for $100 a month for I can have up to, I think, 250,000 email subscribers, so which I'll never get to, so I plan on spending. Yeah. So
That's good. That's good. Oh, thank you, man. This is very good feedback.
awesome. Great. Well, awesome. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Like I said, reach out to me if you have any questions on anything, and follow me, and we'll do this next
What's
month.
it? Looking forward for the next one.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.